Now, I'm on the Republic forum, and a guy posted a link about Blockbuster Critic asking me a question as to like why I switched from GameCube to Xbox 360 when Nintendo still has all the franchises that I consider my favorites. That's a very good question. Now, before I get into that, let me just say that, again, last generation Blockbuster Critic, I wasn't really a fanboy. I didn't really care about, well, I did kind of care about owning the last place console because I did notice that PS2 got all this exclusive third-party support, and GameCube never saw these games. Sure, I liked the first-party franchises, but there were some games I did want to play that were on PS2 that never made it to GameCube. So I did have a minor little resentment of Sony and the PS2 for getting all these games, whereas GameCube didn't. And I came to the conclusion that it must be because of the sales. Whoever sells more gets most support. GameCube sold the least, therefore less games came to it. It's a logical conclusion. So yeah, just moving on from that. Now the main question at hand. I gotta say, guys, what I'm about to say is controversial. It may be a bitter truth that you may not want to hear, but let me just say this. Don't get angry. It means you're sensitive, okay? Even if you traditionally support me, try to keep your feelings in check if what I'm about to say angers you in some way. It's just an opinion, okay? What I'm saying is just an opinion. If it strikes a nerve with you, I'm sorry, but you're sensitive. The reason why I switched from GameCube to Xbox 360 was because I grew up. I think that Nintendo is a console manufacturer that caters to children and to teens, primarily. That's my opinion. You see, back in the day, my first console was a Super Nintendo, then an N64, then a GameCube. Back then, I loved Metroid, Super Nintendo, like Super Mario, Mario Kart, Paper Mario, Legend of Zelda. You name that Nintendo first-party franchise, chances are I've played those games in some type or fashion. But today, I don't know, I see those games as two things. Easy and kiddie. Like, I'm looking at the screen, all these bright colors and whatnot, like, come on, it appeals to kids. They're meant to appeal to children and teens. And then the easiness of it all. Nintendo's making games now that are meant to be beaten by anybody. Anybody. Casuals can beat Nintendo's latest games. So if casuals can beat them, they're a fucking cakewalk for people like me. Like, I'm 22 now. I require a challenge in my games. And Nintendo first-party franchises, they don't provide that. And so, and right there, like, I want a game, I like more gritty games now. I want gritty games. Nintendo franchises have zero blood in them, and or generally they just look colorful. Like, a lot of Nintendo franchises, they look like fucking Teletubbies. I'm sorry if this angers you guys. I'm sorry if you guys are like even older than me and still play Nintendo franchises and therefore are angry at what I'm saying. Don't be sensitive, it's my honest opinion. Forget about it. Another reason why, motion controller gaming killed it for me. I love Metroid Prime 1 and 2, one of my all-time favorite games. I tried Metroid Prime 3 at a Nintendo Wii kiosk. I was disgusted. After 5 minutes, I dropped the controllers, I walked away, I was just disgusted. I was appalled at what they did to my franchise. They added motion control gaming to a game that did not need it. The gamepad with the GameCube for Metroid Prime 1 and 2 was perfect for controlling Samus. Adding the motion control to Part 3 downright disgusted me. So, that's the reason why. I'm a gamepad guy through and through. I like a controller in my hand. I do not like motion control gaming, period. So that's another big reason why I did not pick the Wii, this generation BBC. Okay? Its controller method plainly does not agree with me. That combined with their franchises being simply too young for me now. Too kiddie looking, too easy, not difficult enough, and most importantly now, lacking coherent, deep storylines. Mario, Zelda, Metroid, basic storylines. Pretty basic storylines. They're by no means deep or like just anything like that. Like there's continuity issues. That's it. Continuity issues and overall like very little character development and all this other stuff that really is essential to like a really deep storyline. By contrast, Halo. Now, a lot of people may automatically say Halo is generic and whatnot. To that, I have to say, you are a fucking idiot. There are at least 7 books out there. 7 books, like what, 4 graphic novels, a fucking story encyclopedia, 3 games, three AAA games, the one expansion, the one Halo Wars, the RTS, and then you got the Halo Legends DVD thing. It is safe to say that the Halo universe is by far one of the most deepest stories I've ever encountered in my life. Now again, to those haters out there, again, you're an ignorant idiot, okay? I just said all those stories, all those sources out there that just really flesh out the Halo universe. And that is why I like Halo so much. That is why I am a Halo fan back last generation, even though I never owned an Xbox or played Halo 1 and 2. I was a fan because of the storyline. You say it makes no sense because I never played the games. It makes perfect sense. I was a fan for the story. And when I got Xbox 360, I bought Halo 1 and 2. I was a fan of the games as well. To be a fan of Halo is more than just being a fan of the gameplay, BBC. You have to open your mind about that. It's more than just a game now. It is way more than just a game. It is a storyline that actually encompasses many industries. Music industry, there's soundtrack CDs out there, the novel industry, the graphic novel industry, the gaming industry, obviously, the toy industry. Halo is now in many, many, many industries, not just gaming. So it is very possible to be a fan of Halo without having to play the games. I just want to point that out. So again, that's why I left Nintendo. Now, why did I go to Xbox 360? Yeah, I knew it was going to sell well. I knew it was going to get third-party support, which is true. But mainly because I just didn't go because of Halo. I got it because of Gears of War. That game was gritty. It was hard. It just looked more mature for older audiences, like hence me. Like I'm an older guy now. I'm not playing no fucking Teletubby games. I'm sorry, but Nintendo games look like Teletubbies. I'm sorry. So Gears of War looked gritty. It looked really. I had to have it, and the fact that it was AAA made my decision a lot easier. And then Halo 3 came out. Sure, it's a more colorful game by comparison, but at least there's a good storyline. At least there's fucking blood. Like, come on, Zelda has zero blood in it. Like, come on, you're fighting with a sword, and there's no blood. That just proves my point. Nintendo caters to teenagers or even younger. So yeah, so even though Halo was a little more colorful, it's still a mature-rated game. It still has guns. It still has blood. It still has a great storyline. And then, of course, yeah, I got into the other franchises as well. Like Fable, a mature-rated adventure RPG. I graduated from Mario Kart. I went to Forza 3. You know, 360 has more mature games. They're meant for people who are simply just an older crowd. And Nintendo in general, appeals to teens and younger. If you're an older guy, a guy around my age or even older, and you still play Nintendo franchises, hey, I'm not trying to bash you. I'm not trying to say that you're stuck in the past trying to relive your youth or recapture your youth or whatever. Just try not to take offense. This is just my opinion. Try not to take offense to it. Don't be sensitive. So, yeah, I guess that covers everything. I hope that answers your question. So, to cover all this stuff up, recap, I left Nintendo because they killed it with motion control gaming, in my opinion. Their franchises, they're just stuck in the past. They did not grow up with me as I grew up. And simply, the Xbox 360, the franchises that I want to play, they're more mature, they have a better storyline, and for the record, guys, Gears of War actually has a good storyline. There was actually 2 novels, graphic novels, and actually a 3rd novel coming out this month in August, which I will make a video about later when I buy the book. So, Gears of War actually has a good storyline, a really good storyline. So, the point is, 360, I graduated to a more mature console. Simple as that.